Look, don't shoot me. I'm just a messenger. Now, I got a quick question. Have you ever been doing fine? I'm talking about everything smooth sailing until you start watching somebody else. I'm talking about you were focused, you were consistent, and you were at peace. And then all of the sudden, distraction hits, comparison hits, and even a person's opinion triggers you. Well, today I want to talk about a phrase that we hear all the time, but we rarely understand, and that's going to be staying in your lane. Now, before I start the message, let's get this clear understanding. This is not about being quiet or passive. This is about discipline, maturity, and purpose. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is what staying in your lane really means. Now, when people use the term staying in your lane, they're not saying that they don't care. What they're saying is that they're focused on the assignment that was given to them, meaning focusing on what you're responsible for, what you're called to do, and what you're capable of influencing without getting distracted by another person's path. You see, this is about discipline focus. This is not about passivity. What you're trying to do is build your life, not react to somebody else's. So this means instead of competing, you're focused on cultivating. And instead of comparing, you're focused on your assignment, your goals, your plan. Because the truth is, when you interfere where God didn't give you authority, that's when everything goes downhill. And guess what? The fastest way to lose your peace is try to manage something that you were never meant to carry. Now, I want to talk about why most people leave their lane. And most people don't leave their lane because they're evil. They leave their lane because of three things. And that's number one, comparison. Think about it. You're not tired until you see somebody else's progress. And you're not discouraged until you measure your timeline with theirs. So, what comparison does, it ultimately shifts your focus from obedience to just outcomes, which in turn causes impatience, discouragement, and insecurity because what you're doing is measuring your process with somebody else's season. Comparison often makes people abandon consistency for speed, which in turn results to two things, either quitting or burnouts. All right, the second reason why people normally step out their lane is because they want control. Meaning, a lot of people step out their lane because they want to control three things: outcomes, people, or perceptions. But the reality is, control is often just fear dressed up as confidence. Now, the difference between caring and controlling is that caring not only respects, it supports boundaries, where controlling tries to manage all the outcomes. And when you cross from support to forcing, pressuring, or manipulating, that's when you left your lane. Always remember, if it's not rooted in love, it's probably rooted in fear. All right, now the third thing that usually gets people out their lane is insecurity. You see, when you don't trust your assignment, you start watching someone else's. But if you're secure in your lane, you won't be looking at the traffic next to you, I promise. And I say that because all this does is lead to the three C's, and that's copying, competing, and criticizing, instead of developing your own strength and your own calling. For example, since I'm a barber, we'll start with the barbershop. In a barbershop, say everybody has a different pace, price, and clientele. Staying in your lane means you're mastering your chair instead of watching another barber's. This means you don't pocket watch or client watch. You focus on your craft, your customers, and your conversation. And most importantly, staying consistent, because the barber who stays booked doesn't have time to look at another person's chair because they're bettering their skills. All right, let me give you another example involving relationships. When you're trying to help fix somebody who hasn't asked for help, you're leaving your lane. You see, your lane is your boundaries, your standards, or your obedience. You can love people without trying to manage them. Even if we're talking about faith, conviction should be your lane, not condemnation. Your life should be the lesson before your mouth ever becomes one. All right, now I want to talk about what happens when you stay in your lane. And the first thing that happens when you stay in your lane is that your peace increases because you are no longer trying to hold on to something that you were never meant to carry. When your energy is spent on what you can actually influence, stress decreases and clarity improves. Peace is often a signal that you're aligned with your purpose. So you ultimately stop reacting and you start building. Because the truth is, you do not need to defend your lane because that's your human right, but you do need to develop it. Purpose does not require an explanation because your consistency is going to speak for you. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is how do you know you're in your lane? And the first thing you're going to do is ask yourself 4 questions. Number 1, is this my responsibility? Number 2, did I ask to carry this responsibility? Number 3, do I actually have control over this? And number 4, is this producing peace or pressure? And if it's producing pressure without progress, then you may be out of your lane. And I say that because your lane will challenge you, but it won't confuse you. So I challenge you this week to practice staying in your lane by 1, don't comment on nothing that you're not responsible for. 2, stop trying to manage lives that don't respect your lane or the direction you're going in. And number 3, stop comparing your season to another person's season because you guys are in 2 different processes on 2 different journeys. So the goal is to stay in your lane, master your assignment, and protect your peace because if you stay in your lane long enough, God will expand it. Now, if this helped you, don't forget to like the video and share this with somebody who needs focus. And make sure you hit that subscribe button for more teachings on discipline, purpose, and growth. So if you're staying in your lane today, drop this in the comments. I'm staying in my lane. As always, I hope this helped at least one person. I will be back at you again tomorrow with another one. Until then, I need you to keep your head on the swivel. I need you to love yourself and only help who wants to be helped. I love y'all. I'm out.